Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Who's in charge of your day? Because if you're not in control of it, someone else is. And believe me, they won't run it in your best interest. Life is not a practice round. Every day is a small slice of your destiny. And the sad truth is, most people wake up, roll over, check their phone, and that's it. From that point on, they've handed the keys of their day to someone else. A boss, a deadline, a distraction. They go from one fire to the next, reacting, never creating, surviving, not leading. But here's the good news. The moment you take control of your day starts working for you, not against you. It starts with deciding what matters, deciding what gets your energy, deciding that your time is too valuable to be traded for anything less than your goals, your values. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and what you get. And your day, that's where discipline lives or dies. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up, rise with purpose, plan. Guard your time like it's gold, because it is. Make your priorities louder than the noise of the world. Be the architect of your hours, not the victim of someone else's chaos. Because remember, if you don't control your day, someone else will, and they don't have your dreams. Either you run the day, or the day runs you. That one line might be the difference between mediocrity and mastery. It sounds simple, almost like a catchy phrase. But let me tell you, it's a law. A law just as real as gravity. Ignore it and you'll drift. Follow it and you'll lead. Most people wake up and immediately fall behind. Not because they're lazy, not because they're unintelligent, but because they never decided to take charge. They don't plan the day. They don't direct it. They just show up and hope everything works out. And you know what? Hope is not a strategy. The problem isn't time. We've all been given the same 24 hours. The difference is how we use them. Some people act on their day like it's a mission. Others treat it like a suggestion. Let me give you an example. One person wakes up and has a clear plan. Before they even brush their teeth, they already know the top 3 outcomes they want from today. They've prioritized. They've set boundaries. They've carved out time to think, time to work, time to rest. They're not perfect, but they're intentional. Another person wakes up, grabs their phone, scrolls social media, reacts to messages, checks the news, gets distracted, drinks coffee, rushes out the door, and lets the outside world decide how their energy will be spent. The first one is running the day. The second one is being run by the day. And here's the danger. Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. And soon enough, you look back and realize you never really lived on your own terms. You just followed the current. A river with no banks becomes a flood. A life with no structure becomes chaos. The solution? Take responsibility for your hours. Don't give them away lightly. Start the day with a decision. What am I creating today? What matters? What deserves my energy? You don't need to schedule every second, but you do need direction. A compass, not a calendar. A sense of control, not chaos. Control doesn't mean rigidity. It means clarity. It means being the author of your day instead of just a character in someone else's story. If you don't have a plan for your day, I promise you, someone else does. The world is full of people who would love to use your time for their agenda, and they'll do it with a smile. Emails, meetings, requests, distractions. They'll come, and if you don't have a firm grip on your day, you'll be pulled in every direction except forward. So what do? You get serious about structure. You block time. You protect it. You decide what matters most, and then you fight for it with discipline. You learn to say no without guilt. Because every time you say yes to something unimportant, you say no to your real dreams. You stop treating your day like an emergency room, always reacting, and start treating it like a blueprint, always building. You become a builder, a designer, a leader, not a drifter. Yes, things will come up. Life will throw curveballs. But if you're anchored in purpose, you won't be blown off course by every little wind. The most successful people I've met are not the busiest. They're the most focused. They know the difference between being active and being effective. They don't just do a lot. They do what matters. So here's a question. Who was in charge of your day yesterday? Was it you? Or was it distractions, obligations, interruptions, and noise? And who will be in charge tomorrow? Because every day you don't lead, you follow. Every day you don't decide, something else will. That's the quiet war being fought every morning. And victory goes to the one who prepares before the chaos starts. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. So start tomorrow with a different mindset. Don't just wake up, rise with purpose. Don't just react, respond with intention. Don't just move, advance with clarity. Because if you don't run the day, make no mistake, the day will run you. And when it does, it won't take you where you want to go. But you already knew that. So now, what will you do with your next sunrise? Success doesn't show up all at once. It doesn't knock on your door and announce its arrival with fireworks. No, success is quiet. It hides in the little things, the everyday things. And more than anything else, it hides in your routine. Most people chase big moments. They wait for breakthroughs. They hope for lucky breaks. They believe that success is a sudden event. But that's not how it works. Success doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from thousands of small ones repeated over time, whether anyone's watching or not. You want to see someone's future? Don't look at their goals. Look at their routine. That's where the truth lives. It's not what they wish for. It's what they do when the alarm goes off. It's what they choose when no one's keeping score. It's how they spend the hours no one will ever see. Because every day, you're either planting or neglecting the seeds of your future. Every habit is a vote. Every small action is a brick. You're either building something or letting it fall apart. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't, it's not talent. It's not even motivation. It's consistency, discipline, the ability to keep doing the right things long after the excitement has worn off. People ask, how do I change my life? The answer is simple. Change your day. Not next year, not next month, today. Because if your days don't change, your life won't either. If your routine stays the same, your results will too. You can't outdream your habits. You can't outperform your rituals. Think of it this way. Your routine is like the rudder of a ship. It might seem small, but it controls everything. It sets your direction, and it does it quietly. Day after day. You might not notice the difference after a day or two, but give it a few months, a year, and you'll be somewhere completely different. That's the power of the right routine. It compounds, it builds, and it transforms. But here's the hard part. The right routine is usually boring. It's not flashy. It's not always fun. It looks like getting up early, even when you're tired. It looks like reading when you'd rather scroll. It looks like practicing when no one's watching. It looks like eating clean, training hard, doing the work without applause. And that's why most people avoid it. They chase inspiration instead of systems. They rely on moods instead of discipline. They look for shortcuts instead of routines. But success isn't found in shortcuts. It's found in structure. If you want to master your life, master your mornings. Start with how you wake up, what you think about, what you do before the world tries to steal your attention. That first hour, that's your foundation. And if you don't build it on purpose, it'll be built by distraction. Then look at how you move through the day. Are you intentional? Are you organized? Do you know what matters and what doesn't? Or are you just reacting, putting out fires, hoping to make it to the end? Excellence doesn't show up randomly. It shows up because you built it into your daily rhythm. Success hides in routines because routines are honest. They don't lie. They don't bend to emotion. They tell you the truth about your commitment, about your values, about what you're really building, brick by brick. And here's the best part. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to adjust the pattern, one habit at a time, one improvement at a time, one good choice stacked on another, because small hinges swing big doors. You become what you repeat, not what you wish for, Not what you talk about at parties, what you do day after day. That's where your future is being written. So if your results aren't what you want, don't start with massive changes. Start with your routine. Look at the little things, the invisible things, the choices no one else sees. That's where your power is. And if you can fix the day, you can fix the life. Remember, success doesn't hide in events, it hides in patterns. So what are yours? And more importantly, what could they be? Don't start the day until you've finished it on paper. It sounds backward at first, doesn't it? How can you finish something before you even start? But that's exactly the point. Success begins in the mind. It begins in preparation. It begins when you take control of time before time takes control of you. Most people wake up and walk straight into the storm of the day. No direction, no focus, no map. They turn on their phones, check their messages, scroll through headlines, and instantly hand their attention over to the world. They spend their day reacting instead of creating. And by the end of it, they're exhausted not from achievement, but from chaos. That's not how you build a meaningful life. If you want the day to go right, you've got to design it. Not by accident, not in your head, on paper. Writing it down forces clarity. It takes the invisible and makes it real. Thoughts are slippery, paper is solid. What you write, you can shape. What you see, you can follow. The mind loves direction, and it resists disorder. When you begin your day with a clear plan, you tell your mind, this is where we're going. This is what matters. These are the wins we're after. You see, the day doesn't ask you what's important. It just brings noise. It throws interruptions, distractions, and demands at you. If you haven't decided in advance what your priorities are, you'll live in reaction all day long, and reaction is the enemy of growth. But when you've already written your plan, you don't wake up into confusion. You wake up into intention. You don't waste energy figuring out what to do. You just begin. That momentum alone puts you ahead of 90% of the world. And I'm not talking about filling your day with endless to-do lists. This isn't about being busy. It's about being precise. 1 or 2 key objectives, a few critical actions, the things that actually move you forward, not just fill your time. Don't confuse motion with progress. Running in circles is still running. The question is, are you building something? Are you moving with purpose, or are you just getting through the day hoping something good happens? When you finish your day on paper before it starts, you step into the role of a creator. You become the architect, the builder, the leader of your own life. Try this. At the end of each evening, take 10 minutes to think. Reflect on what worked, what didn't, what's next. Then plan tomorrow. Not just the meetings and the tasks, but the goals, the energy, the attitude you want to bring. Write it down, close the book, and sleep with peace, knowing the next day has already been shaped by your hand. It doesn't need to be fancy, a notebook, a calendar, a blank sheet. What matters is the thinking behind the writing. It's the decision making. It's the ownership. It's saying, this is my day. This is what I'll do with it. And nothing will distract me from it unless I allow it. This simple habit will change everything. Because when you take 10 minutes to plan, you save hours of drifting. When you act with clarity, you remove doubt. And when you remove doubt, you gain momentum. And momentum, that's when life starts to work with you, not against you. But if you let the day plan itself, don't be surprised when it doesn't go your way. You wouldn't build a house without blueprints. You wouldn't go on a trip without a map. Why would you face a brand new day, one full of potential, challenge, and opportunity, without a plan? And here's something to remember. Life doesn't give you what you hope for. It gives you what you prepare for. The person who prepares is the person who prevails. So make it your habit. Don't start the day until you've finished it on paper. Don't let the sun rise without knowing what it's rising into. Show up with answers, not questions. Show up as the leader, not the follower. Show up ready, not hoping. Because once the day begins, the clock starts ticking. Distractions come knocking. And if you haven't already decided what matters, something else will decide for you. Take 10 minutes tonight and win tomorrow before it even starts. Priorities are not found. They're not lying around like coins on the sidewalk. You don't stumble upon them in the middle of your day. No one hands them to you neatly packaged, and the world certainly won't figure them out for you. Priorities are created, built, forged. They are the result of intentional thinking and deliberate decision-making. Most people live their lives waiting for clarity to strike. They think that at some point, life will slow down and reveal what matters most. But life doesn't work like that. It doesn't pause to hand you a checklist. It keeps moving. And if you don't decide what's important, something else will decide for you. That's the hard truth. If you don't create your priorities, the world will gladly create them for you. And let me tell you, the world doesn't have your long-term success in mind. It has noise, urgency, distraction, and pressure. The urgent will always try to outweigh the important unless you push back. Creating priorities starts with one simple question: what do I want my life to be about? Not just this week, not just this year. What do I want to build? Who do I want to become? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? Those aren't light questions, and they shouldn't be, because from those answers, your priorities are born. But here's the challenge. Once you create them, you must protect them, because everything competes for your attention. Emails, social media, gossip, obligations. Most of it seems urgent, and a lot of it feels necessary. But feeling urgent is not the same as being important. You've got to learn the difference. If you're not careful, you'll wake up and spend your entire day working on someone else's priorities. You'll rush, you'll answer calls, you'll check boxes, and by evening, you'll feel tired but empty. Busy but not fulfilled. Active but not accomplished. Why? Because you didn't lead your day, you followed it. To create priorities, you must sit still. Think, reflect, ask what truly matters. Then take those answers and turn them into action. You don't need 20 priorities. You don't even need 10. You need a few clear ones. Things worth building your life around. A relationship worth protecting. A skill worth mastering. A body worth strengthening. A purpose worth pursuing. Once you know them, the rest becomes easier. Not easy, but easier. When you have created your priorities, decisions become clearer. You no longer say yes to everything. You stop measuring your day by how many things you did and start measuring it by whether you did the right things. Creating priorities is an act of courage. It means saying no more often. It means letting go of the pressure to please everyone. It means being misunderstood sometimes. But the reward is peace, confidence, direction, and that deep, quiet sense that your life is moving the way you want it to, not drifting by, carried by the currents of other people's demands. There's something powerful about someone who knows what they're about. They know what they're about. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it in their presence. They're not frantic. They're not always available, but they are committed. And commitment is rare these days because distraction is everywhere. Let others chase the urgent. Let others react all day. But you decide what matters. You create the list. You protect your energy. You guard your time like gold. Because time is what you spend your life on. And when your time reflects your values, your real values, not just the ones you talk about, life begins to feel whole, fulfilled, aligned. So don't wait to find your priorities. Don't expect them to magically appear one morning. They're not lost. They're waiting for you to create them. Sit down, get quiet, decide, write them down, and then every day build your schedule around them, not the other way around. Remember, life doesn't ask what you intended to do. It reflects what you prioritized. And your future is quietly being shaped, not by chance, but by what you choose to make important today. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. That may be one of the most important truths you'll ever learn. And it's not just a clever phrase, it's reality. It's the invisible scale life uses every single day. And sooner or later, everyone steps on it. Discipline is the small cost you pay today to avoid the heavy price tomorrow. It's the uncomfortable choice in the moment that spares you years of disappointment down the road. The pain of discipline is sharp but short. Regret, on the other hand, is heavy, long-lasting. It stays with you. It lingers. Think about it. The discipline to wake up early and take care of your body, it might cost you an extra hour of sleep. An ounce, the regret of poor health later in life because you ignored your fitness, that weighs tons. The discipline to study, learn, and prepare, a few hours, a little effort, some sacrifice, still ounces. The regret of missed opportunities, failed exams, or the job you didn't get because you weren't ready, that's heavy. Discipline is the quiet voice that says, do it now, even if it's hard. It never yells. It doesn't chase you down. It whispers. And if you ignore it long enough, it leaves. Then regret comes in. Regret is louder. Regret looks back at what could have been and says, if only. If only I had stuck with it. If only I hadn't quit. If only I had chosen the harder right instead of the easier wrong. But here's the beautiful part. Life gives you the choice up front. You don't get to avoid the cost. You just get to choose when you'll pay it. You can pay with discipline now or with regret later. And believe me, the price always comes due. The challenge is that discipline is rarely exciting. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's saying no when you'd rather say yes. It's pushing forward when comfort invites you to stay put. Discipline doesn't offer instant gratification. It offers long-term reward. Regret, though, it often arrives too late, after the damage is done, after the door has closed, after the time has passed. That's why wise people don't wait for motivation. They build habits. They don't rely on feeling good. They rely on doing what's good, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one's watching. Discipline is like a muscle. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you make a tough choice, every time you delay gratification, every time you do the hard thing instead of the easy thing, you strengthen that muscle, and over time it gets easier. But let it weaken, and soon everything becomes a struggle. Now, some people say, well, I'll get to it eventually. I'll start tomorrow. But the problem with delay is that time keeps moving. And while you wait, the cost of regret grows. Opportunities expire. Health declines. Relationships suffer. Skills fade. Tomorrow has a way of becoming never if you don't take action today. Here's the real test. When you look back 5 years from now, will you wish you had started today? That's the question discipline answers. Because discipline doesn't just protect you from regret, it builds your future. Every small disciplined act, each workout, each book, each call, each hour of focus, it all adds up, slowly at first, then all at once. Discipline gives you options, freedom, strength. Regret takes those things away. And the truth is, you don't need perfect discipline, just enough. Enough to keep showing up, enough to keep making progress, enough to say, I won't let comfort steal my future. So don't ask if it's hard, ask if it's worth it, because the answer is always yes. Yes, it's worth the early mornings. Yes, it's worth the effort no one sees. Yes, it's worth the sacrifice that builds something real. The weight of discipline is light. It fits in your hand. You carry it daily, and it makes you stronger. The weight of regret, that one you drag behind you, and it doesn't go away until you replace it with action, with responsibility, with a new level of commitment. So, choose wisely. Carry the ounce now or carry the ton later. Life is always weighing your choices, even when you're not.